Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'm sitting here today with Lori Allen, Animation Queen. Thank you for joining me, Lori. Lori will be teaching a class with us called Talk to the Booth Lady, which is her own creation, and we'll discuss that a little bit later. That class is going to take place Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. So the 29th and the 30th, 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. online. So you can join from anywhere in that specific time. Right, cool. Let's get into it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I've been looking forward to this. So, Lori, you've done, I was just looking at your IMDb and there's too many things to list, but there's just an amazing amount of work there. Do you have like any particular animation characters, roles that stick out as your favorites that you've done?
Oh gosh. Well, I'm still in love with Pearl. I'm still in love with Pearl Krabs because she's the world's most adorable, loud, large, absolutely adorable teenager who's a sweet, spoiled girl. And we're still doing the show after 21 years. And we have our two, sort of spin-off shows, Camp Coral, the Under Years, and the Patrick Star Show. So fun. In Camp Coral, I get to be little baby Pearl. She's like, ah, da, 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 instead of like, oh, daddy, so it's fun to think of her in different iterations at different ages. And absolutely so drew on my own me as a young kid for, just always wanting to be at the mall with their friends and loving my dad and being slightly obnoxious. And then I always just loved Diane Simmons, of course, because that is my mom. My mom was and is both my parents are amazing voice actors, and they are both part of the union since I was a little girl. And so my mom would do some of the booth announcing in addition to theater and all sort of things like that. And so Diane Simmons is really based on her doing the news. So those are my familial connections. And of course, I love the drama and the intensity of the boss in Metal Gear. Like that, I just wish she could be head of the free world. Like I just wish she could be our president. She's amazing. So I aspire to be like her.
Awesome. So for actors trying to get into animation these days, for voice actors, what qualities or skills do you think are like the ones to focus on the most up front?
I think such a good question. I wish somebody had sort of told me this outright, but I came up doing a lot of theater and musical theater and a ton of improv. So I was sort of already like knew how to sort of just make some bold choices. So now with, the pandemic and who knows how much we'll go back to being in big groups of people and stuff like that, you got to be your biggest fan. You got to have the confidence. You got to be willing to play. And I really think it's paramount to take an improv class because it helps you establish like who, what, why, where, when, and that's what you need in animation. Because in animation, you have to have a wild imagination, especially when you're auditioning for things, because some of the stuff is out of context. Some of the stuff you're going to know when I'm talking about the librarian, Mrs. Wilcox or whatever. But so much of the time in your auditions, you're not going to know who a lot of the lines are going to be very clear from the spec, but oftentimes you're going to be like, it seems like it's her next door neighbor best friend, but I'm not sure. And that's the guy, that's the bully. So you have to have a really good imagination, and improv sort of forces you can't be shy. It doesn't mean you're loud and obnoxious, especially for a more dramatic or more intimate conversational read in animation. But it's still, you have to be willing to really give yourself some circumstances. So I feel like if anybody's had theater training, audiobook narration, stuff like that, improv, singing, you already are naturally a storyteller, and you just have to be able to make bold choices and not second guess them and just go for it, because nobody's expecting anything perfect. We don't want perfect. Who wants perfect? I want, in casting and people and producers, and I do people's demos, we want to hear authenticity. We don't want you trying to be who is they, right? My mentor, Charlie Adler, is like, the hell with they, like, you make those authentic choices and just stand behind your choices and be able to improvise and breathe life into a character and make it your own authentic self. Take off your headphones. You have to put them back on to edit, but really feel good about the choices you're making, and don't listen to yourself, and really focus on the acting, focus on the other person that you're talking to or about in the scene. So yeah, those are some of the main things that I think is that are important. And to play, you have to willing to play and not second guess yourself and, go just give it life is still a little crazy, right? So, when you go in the booth, just be a badass for 20 minutes and then you can leave. You can do anything for 20 minutes and don't over record. Record a couple of takes of each line or record the one whole thing of from top to bottom, T to B, right, of the whole script. And then if you want to give it a second take, and then don't overthink it. Like everyone's going to have a warble, a word that we, invert a sentence or do, like I do. I'm a little dyslexic, so for on camera stuff, I'm always inverting a word or two. And you want to add some gentle improv, especially the vocalizations, the effort noises, a laugh, a giggle, without like rewriting the writer's, screwing up the writer's intent, because that's obnoxious. But just really bringing like your full self, blessing it and being like, I did a great job, I'm done, and really not replaying it and beating yourself up about what you think was required. Like nobody wants to, you're there to fill a casting director's, you're there to do the work for them. You're going to make them look good, the more authentic choices you make.
Awesome. Yeah, I love all of that. Great. Thank you. Let's talk a little bit about the booth lady. I've heard a bit from Danny about the booth lady, but I haven't heard directly from you. And the class is called Talk to the Booth Lady. So
I didn't name that class, which is interesting, but how fun that is. Back in 2008, back in my day, when you'd go in and read at your agent's office and everything, and I was chatting with one of the lovely booth directors at the time, and it was a commercial audition actually for like Old Navy. And I remember we were just talking, and it was like the first words were like, on sale now is the 2-for-1 Christmas pajama bottom sale now to January 3rd or something like that. So she and I were just chatting, and she goes, wait, you know what? Because it's really good to know one's voice, right? I have a deeper voice. I came up with like mom anchored, voice. I have, my parents were theater people, so I have good speech and projection. And so I have to kind of loosen up the way I'm talking. Other people may need something different. I have a client who's really lovely and she's very chill. So she's got to kind of speed up her way of talking, her pace, just because, right? That's what's trending. So know your voice, know what you where you need to kind of speed up, slow down, or if you have a slight lisp, like whatever it is. So anyway, back in the booth, she was like, just talk to me like how you're talking. You talk kind of fast and conversational, and then you go into some like announcer read. And I was like, oh, geez. So she was like, just give me some information, talk like how you talk, and talk to me and like lead yourself in. And so that was a game changer. So because there was the housing crazy crash in that time, and so nobody wanted like a hard sell or buy this when everybody's like losing their homes and all this kind of stuff. So I came home and I had like a little stick figure and I had like, talk to me, talk like how I talk, lead yourself in. Who are you talking to and why? I added that. And then over the years, different classes that I taught or took and things that I found valuable. I just on this one sheet, because I'm such a visual audio learner that I'm not saying that correctly, but I need to be able to see it. I like when I teach, I don't even have a full on 6 weeks curriculum. It's more like, so I basically made it a visual thing of like, things you can just kind of grab and be like, who are you talking to and why? Great. What's especially for animation, what's the pre-life? You've never said these words before. So it makes it very much authentic and happening now. We want to hear you mid-scene. So I don't want to give away too many of my fun secrets, but it's really just having like a visual. You can make your own booth lady, take what you like and leave the rest, but things that definitely help you. That's why I love coaching, because I feel like everyone needs a way in, like observe the scene, observe the action. Like I was redoing my commercial demo and she was like, it's for like Lara Bar or something. And she was like, can you just like look at your phone and pretend to read the ingredients off your phone, right? So whether it's being in the scene, observing it, making opposite choices, like all of that is on one piece of paper. And inevitably we're all having a tough day. We forgot to record an audition that was due, an hour ago, or you've got a busy day the next day. And so you're recording late at night. There's going to be a couple things right in front of you that you can see. And that's what the booth lady is really just like my cheat sheet, if you will, of over 30 years worth of a cheat sheet of stuff that hopefully will resonate with someone and let them find their things that help them get into character, help them start the scene. We don't want to hear us starting to the scene. We want to be in the scene from the get-go. So that booth lady is just what I called her, because I couldn't think of anything else. To keep her in your booth. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love it. It sounds like a lifesaver.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of go-tos, Yeah, it's a bunch of go-tos. And so even if it's not the one you wanted, and you go up and you say, reset between the lines, because sometimes with animation, they're all one-off. So they're each like separate little stories almost. You have to treat, like there's 6 lines. Those are 6 different sort of experiences. You have to talk yourself in, know the circumstances, who are you talking to, why are you talking to them, what do you want in the scene. It's very helpful to come from that theater on camera background. The microphone just kind of happens to be there, but inevitably you'll see something that you need that will just help anchor your read at that time.
Great. Awesome. I'm looking forward to class. I'll be in it. And
Yay!
yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
I know
you.
you're busy, so I'm not going to keep you very much longer, but
Well, thank you so much for having me and let me share my stuff. I just love it. I love helping find a way for people to get to like where they're like, yes, this is how I like to get into character. This is the thing that helps me. And then I'm like, yay, because it's different for every person,
mhm,
So
absolutely.
yeah. So,
So I'm gonna let you go. I know you got things that you got to take care of today,
yeah.
but thank you so much for joining us, and
Thank
I'm looking
you.
forward to class.
I'm so looking forward to it in advance. Guys, I'm so excited. We'll have so much fun.